I'll get there. Seriously, good. Thank you for the question. Girls memorize this. Why? Well, I haven't got time to go there right now, but let me briefly tell you why. Girls would finish their education when they menstruate. Then within a year, God willing, you'll be married. They have a party, announce to the community that you're able to bear children, and everybody knows who the married. It's very different, I understand, than what we do, but that's how they did it. Do it to this day. Now, girls memorize this. Why? This shocks most people. In the Old Testament, worship was held 3 times a year. Give me the days. Passover, Shavuot, Pentecost, Sukkot, tabernacles, booths, tents. God said those are the times you go to church. The rest is to rest. So where is the worship held in a Jewish family? The rest of at home. And who leads the worship in the home? In the Galilean tradition, the woman. So people are shocked to discover that far more worship was led by women than by men, in a very different way. So girls would memorize the portions that they would need for worship at the family altar, it's called. 3 times, Jesus quotes scripture to a group called the women. All 3 times from Psalms. Why? He's quoting what they knew. Now, at age 12, a boy could move on to the next level, Beth Midrash. Midrash means to apply, to learn, to understand in a deeper sense. Girls would soon marry. Boys could continue, listen to me please, if they knew the Torah by memory. If you didn't know the Torah by memory, now you went into the family business. And it was not a disgrace if you had tried, but it was God's way of saying, sorry, those are not your talents. And probably, I'm guessing, 1 out of 100 was good enough to go on. 1 out of 10, I don't know. No one knows, but it was a small percentage. Now, those boys would study from ages 12 to 15. They would also be learning the trade with their father because few of them would finish, or very few of them would move to the 3rd level. So they're also learning the trade. And they studied, memorizing now, not the Torah, but Tanakh. Now obviously you're not going to learn the whole Tanakh in 3 years unless you're a prodigy, but the goal is to learn as much of the Tanakh as well as continuing to study Torah. So by age 15, most Jewish boys who had gone through the system knew the Torah by memory and large sections of Tanakh. If you demonstrated that you knew Tanakh and Torah by memory, big sections of it at least, you could then move on to the 3rd level, which is Beth Talmud. Talmud is based on the idea of interpretation. Now that was for boys ages 15 to 30. And I put a question mark by 30 because very few made it. You just didn't have what it takes. You study the interpretation of the entire Bible. It is this group that are called disciples and that study with a rabbi with smicha. So realize what you had to have to be a Talmid. You needed to have memorized the Torah, big sections of Navaim Chetuvim, the prophets and the writings, and you needed to be accepted by one of these great rabbis with smicha. Are you following me? Now, what is a Talmid? And this is where I lose it, and I'll try to be reserved here. We take the word Talmid, we translate the English disciple. Talmid is a Hebrew word, not a Greek word, but we translate it disciple. We tend, however, in my opinion, to think of disciples as people who want to know what the teacher knows. My students all do. Well, I shouldn't say that. Most of them. A few want to know what I know because they like it. There's probably a couple who want to know what I know because they like me. Almost all of them want to know what I know because they want to get a decent grade or pass the class or not have to take it over again or get into college. There's nothing wrong with that, but that is a student. A Talmid is someone who is driven with a passion to be just like the rabbi. You want to know what he knows. You want to do what he does. You want to live with him. You want to watch him. You want to listen to him. You want to observe him 24 hours a day because more than anything else in the world, you want to be like him. It's your consuming passion all the time. Now tell me, how many of us in this room are disciples? I was in a church recently, it said in the bulletin, discipleship training, 6 Wednesday nights for an hour and a half. That's not discipleship, that's not even curiosity. A disciple is someone who is consumed to be like the rabbi at all costs and in all things. And everything else is second. And so what do? Well, you got to spend your time with the rabbi. Listen to Mark. And Jesus chose the 12 in order, tell me how you would have finished this. Jesus chose the 12 in order, what do you think? Be wrong. In order to teach, He chose the 12 in order to be with him. Why did he want the disciples with him 24 hours a day? Well, he wasn't going to be around forever, but why 24 hours a day? How can you be like somebody you don't know? You've got to live with this guy. I'm telling you, I've seen this. Little kids follow the rabbi. If he goes in the men's room, the whole group of little kids go in the men's room with him. Maybe not the stall, but what if he comes out and prays after he uses the men's room? We want to learn how to pray. You think, that's stupid. There is a prayer. Blessed are you, Lord our God, for giving us openings in our bodies. And if that sounds stupid, wait till one of them doesn't work.